early on, as early as 1983, when Patrick Cards released his very first edition of Out of the Shadows, which is 4 years old this year, which is remarkable, shame was identified as a common characteristic of sex addicts. And there's been a whole stream of research that has continued to look at that. You can see studies 2001, 2010, 2014, and there are even newer ones that I didn't cite here. So it's been prominent in the literature. Lots of researchers have been studying this, and there are various relationships that have been found between shame and hypersexual disorder, sex addiction being one expression of that. And what we see is that it is both a predictor. Shame is both a predictor and a contributor of hypersexual disorder. It is a consequence of it, and it is part of the maintenance of it. Shame could come first and be something that predicts and contributes to the future development of the disorder, but it could also be the consequence of. So the disorder could come first and shame could come next, or shame could be part of the fuel that maintains it, or all three could be true. And this graph, I pulled it from this article that's cited right here. I mean, it's a little hard to follow, but basically here's what it's saying. Take shame. Shame has a positive relationship. It is positively correlated with hypersexuality. It is negatively correlated with motivation to change. And shame is negatively correlated with proactive behavioral change. However, guilt is negatively associated with hypersexuality, positively associated with both motivation to change and the actual behavior change itself. Over here, what we see, hypersexuality is negatively associated with motivation to change and negatively associated with proactive behavior, but proactive behavior change and motivation to change are positively correlated with each other. Break all this down, okay? What does all that really mean at the end of the day? Well, it means this, that shame is much more likely to be on board with this and not likely to be on board if these things are happening, and more likely to interfere with these things happening, things that we want to happen. Whereas guilt is actually something that is good and moves us to do these things. You know, the goal is not to never feel bad, because guess what? Guilt feels bad too. But guilt feels bad and goes somewhere positive is what the research seems to show. Whereas shame, and again, remember, I'm here talking specifically about unhealthy shame, is unlikely to lead somewhere positive or healthy.